A slow, soothing journey through the science, stories, and quiet beauty of the Northern Lights, designed to help your viewers relax, feel safe, and peacefully fall asleep. Let the noise of your day begin to soften. If you'd like, you can gently close your eyes or let them half close and blur the room around you. Tonight, we're going to fall asleep beneath an imagined sky where slow waves of green and violet light drift quietly above a frozen horizon, like soft curtains moving in a room made of stars. These are the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, a glow written by the sun, painted across the night by Earth's magnetic field, and received by your resting eyes as something peaceful, almost magical. You don't have to remember anything I say. You don't have to follow every fact or picture every detail. You can let these words wash over you like a calm tide and keep only what feels gentle. If sleep arrives while we're still talking about stars, particles, and polar nights, that's perfectly okay. The aurora can keep drifting without you. Take a slow, easy breath in and a long, soft breath out. Quiet wonders everywhere. If this kind of calm, cozy science helps you unwind at the end of the day, you're very welcome in this little corner of the internet. You can subscribe or tap like only when it feels right, so that more sleepy souls can find a safe place to rest under these gentle skies. For now, there is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to fix, and nowhere else you have to be. Just you, your breath, and a northern sky slowly filling with soft, glowing light. Imagine you are standing in a quiet, snowy field. The air is crisp and clean, and every sound feels far away. Your breath rises in small clouds, disappearing into the dark. Snow under your feet is soft and slightly squeaky, like fresh powder pressed into silence. Above you, the sky is deep and dark, studded with slow, patient stars. For a moment, it seems as if nothing is happening at all. And then, you notice it, a pale band along the horizon. At first, it could be a cloud or a faint mist of light. You watch. The band brightens, almost shyly, stretching itself further across the sky. It begins to curve, gently bending into an arc, like a glowing bridge over the world. Slowly, it ripples. The pale band thickens into a soft curtain, folding and unfolding in silent waves. This is your first night with the Northern Lights. No rush, no crowds, just you and a sky that has decided to write with light instead of ink. You feel the air on your face, the solid snow beneath your feet, and a sense of calm that seems to drift down from the sky itself. Quiet wonders everywhere. The Northern Lights feel magical, but they are also wonderfully natural. They appear most often in high latitude regions near the Arctic, where Earth's magnetic field guides streams of charged particles into the upper atmosphere. These particles mostly come from the sun, carried outward in a constant flow called the solar wind. When these tiny charged particles reach Earth, they are guided by the planet's magnetic field toward the polar regions. High above you, much higher than airplanes fly, higher than the highest clouds, they collide with atoms and molecules in the air, mostly oxygen and nitrogen. Those atoms and molecules get a small burst of extra energy, and when they let that energy go, they release it as light, one photon at a time, one tiny flash, again and again until the sky looks like a soft, glowing veil. So the Northern Lights are the visible result of an invisible conversation between the sun and the earth, between charged particles and thin air, between fields and atoms, between space and sky. You don't need to remember the details. You can simply hold this thought. The lights above you are a sign that your planet is alive with energy and that you are safely resting inside its protective embrace. Quiet wonders everywhere. To follow the story of the aurora, we travel gently outward from your snowy field all the way to the sun. The sun is not a quiet, solid ball. It is a churning sphere of hot plasma, a sea of charged particles, flowing and swirling in slow, powerful motions. From its outer atmosphere, called the corona, a steady stream of particles flows outward into space. This stream is the solar wind. Most of the time, the solar wind is calm and fairly even, like a gentle breeze in space. But sometimes, the sun releases bursts of extra energy, solar flares, and larger clouds of material called coronal mass ejections. These events send denser, faster flows of particles toward the planets. When one of these flows reaches Earth, it presses on the planet's magnetic bubble, shaping and stirring it. Most of that activity is invisible far above the atmosphere, but some of the energy is translated into motion and light in the thin air near the poles. That translation is what you see as the northern lights, a gentle glow in the night that started its story inside the heart of the sun. From the plasma of a star to the silence of a polar sky, to the soft darkness of your room as you listen and rest, quiet wonders everywhere. Earth is more than rock, water, and air. It is also a giant magnet. Deep below you, liquid metal in Earth's outer core moves slowly, creating a magnetic field that stretches far into space. This field forms a protective bubble around our planet called the magnetosphere. When the solar wind flows past, most of its particles are guided around Earth by this invisible shield. Imagine the magnetosphere as a smooth stone in a river. The river of particles splits and flows around it, but along certain paths near the polar regions, some of these particles can slide down the field lines, spiraling inward and downward toward the upper atmosphere. This is why the aurora appears most often in rings around the magnetic poles in zones we call auroral ovals. From the ground, you just see light in the sky. From space, the lights form halos around the top and bottom of the planet, circles of soft color where space weather meets thin air. As you lie here now, you are wrapped inside that magnetic shield, held gently by a planet that quietly protects you from most of the sun's wilder moods. Quiet wonders everywhere. Let's drift a little closer to the actual glow. High above the ground in the thin, cold atmosphere live atoms and molecules of oxygen and nitrogen. When fast electrons from space collide with these atoms and molecules, they give them a tiny push of energy. For a brief moment, an electron inside the atom sits in a higher energy level, like someone standing on the second step of a small staircase. But that state doesn't last. The atom prefers to relax back to its original level. When it does, it releases the extra energy as a photon, a small packet of light. Different atoms and different transitions release different colors. Oxygen often glows green at lower auroral heights and a softer red higher up in the sky. Nitrogen can add blue and violet tones, tracing the edges of curtains and rays. So when you see the northern lights, you are really seeing countless tiny atoms finishing their little jump, letting go of their extra energy, and returning to a calmer state. It's as if the sky is made of tiny exhalations of light, quiet wonders everywhere. The aurora doesn't always look the same. Its shapes tell quiet stories about how energy flows in the space around Earth. Sometimes you see a simple arc, a single band of light stretching from one side of the sky to the other. Other times, this arc breaks into curtains, folding and rippling as if an invisible wind is blowing through it. You may see rays, thin columns of light that shoot upward, reaching toward the highest parts of the sky. On particularly active nights, the entire sky can fill with moving structures, swirls, spirals, and bursts of light that shift too quickly to fully capture with your mind. For sleep, we slow all of this down. Imagine the aurora moving at the pace of your breath,
As you inhale, a soft wave of green light rises and stretches. As you exhale, the wave sinks and fades, leaving just a faint echo of color behind your eyelids. You don't have to analyze the shapes. You don't have to name them. You can simply feel that the sky is not rigid, but flexible and alive, gently rewriting itself moment by moment. Quiet wonders everywhere.
For many people, seeing the northern lights for the first time is quietly emotional. You might have seen thousands of photos and videos, but being there in person is different. The air is real. The cold on your cheeks is real. The crunch of snow under your boots as you step away from artificial lights is real. Then the sky brightens, and you realize that this is not a screen or an edited picture. The color feels softer to your eyes than in the photographs, but somehow more honest, more alive. Some people laugh quietly, some people cry a little, some just grow silent, as if the sky has pressed a gentle finger to their lips. In that moment, it doesn't really matter how many facts you know. You are simply present. A small human being under a very large, very patient piece of the universe. If you've never seen the lights in person, your imagination is enough. You can borrow this feeling now, that the world is wider than your worries and kinder than you thought, at least for tonight. Quiet wonders everywhere.
Long before anyone spoke of solar winds and magnetospheres, people looked up and told stories. In some cultures, the lights were seen as spirits dancing across the sky, ancestors, animals, or beings from another realm. In other traditions, the aurora was thought to be reflections of distant fires burning just beyond the horizon, or light from the shields and armor of mythical warriors in the clouds. Some stories were playful, warning children not to whistle at the lights or wave at them just in case they came closer. Others were gentle and comforting, describing the aurora as a sign that the world was watched over, that the night was not empty but alive. You don't need to decide which story is true. Each legend is a way of putting human feelings into something beyond our control. Tonight you can imagine that the lights above you carry all those stories at once, quietly, respectfully, like a library written in color instead of words. Quiet wonders everywhere.
While we stand and stare at the sky, the animals of the north go on with their lives. Reindeer move across the tundra, digging through snow to reach the plants hidden underneath. Arctic foxes trot along ridges and frozen rivers, ears tuned to the faintest rustle of a small creature under the snow. Owls sit on branches or rocks, silent and alert, their eyes large and steady in the dim light. Above them, the aurora glows and moves, painting their fur and feathers in pale green. For them, this is just the sky. They do not ask why it glows. They do not worry about missing the best display. They simply live beneath it. You can borrow a little of that simplicity for this moment. You don't need to figure everything out. You don't need to solve or fix. You can just exist like a small, warm animal resting under a softly shifting sky. Quiet wonders everywhere. In the far north, there are times of year when the sun barely rises or doesn't rise at all. This period is called the polar night, a long stretch of dimness where daylight is more of a blue twilight than a full, bright day. During these weeks, the aurora can become a quiet companion. People go to work in the dark, come home in the dark, and cook dinner under a sky that sometimes glows green outside the window. Children might play indoors, peek through the glass, and call out when the lights appear, pointing at the sky with mittened hands when they go outside. In the polar night, artificial lights from homes and streets make small islands of warmth in the wide darkness. The aurora is like a bridge between that human glow and the vast cold space beyond, a reminder that even the longest night contains quiet beauty.
As you listen now, you may be in darkness or in light, but you can imagine that somewhere on Earth, someone is stepping out into the polar night, pulling on a coat and tilting their head back to see what the sky is doing tonight. Quiet wonders everywhere. From the ground, auroras arch over your head like domes or curtains. From space, the view is different and beautifully serene. Astronauts on the International Space Station sometimes fly over the auroral zones, seeing glowing ovals of green and red wrapped around the top and bottom of the planet. City lights sparkle below in warm yellows and whites, while the aurora above them shines in cooler greens and occasional purples. To an observer in orbit, the aurora looks like thin, bright curtains hanging down from the edge of the atmosphere, hundreds of kilometers tall, waving slowly in space. Imagine yourself for just a moment watching Earth from that vantage point. You see the curve of the planet, soft and blue at the edges, with a delicate green halo near the poles. All the places where people live, all the towns and forests and oceans, lie under that thin, glowing blanket. Suddenly your worries feel small, not unimportant, but gently resize against the planet's slow, steady turning. Quiet wonders everywhere.
Most of the time, the aurora stays near the polar regions. But when the sun is more active and geomagnetic storms are stronger, the auroral ovals can expand, reaching into lower latitudes. On those special nights, people far from the Arctic or Antarctic look up in surprise to see their familiar sky touched by faint green or red arcs. In the countryside where the sky is dark, the lights can be clear and vivid, stretching above forests, fields, and lakes that rarely see such displays. Even in cities, despite the glow of streetlights, long exposure photographs can reveal pillars and bands of aurora over skylines and rooftops. For many, this is a once-in-a-lifetime sight. The sky of home briefly transformed. If you live far from the poles, you can imagine one of those rare nights, stepping outside to take out the trash or to stretch your legs, and noticing a strange light on the horizon. You tilt your head, your eyes adjust, and you realize that the world above you is quietly shimmering. The same physics, the same particles and atoms, the same gentle glow, just closer to where you are. Quiet wonders everywhere. For most of us, the aurora is silent. You stand beneath it and hear only the ordinary sounds of night, wind in the trees, snow underfoot, distant water, an animal calling far away. And yet, for centuries, people living under auroral skies have reported faint sounds, whispers, crackles, soft hissing noises that seem to match the motion of the lights. Scientists have explored these stories, and there are some ideas that might explain them, involving electric charges and layers of air near the ground. But there is still some mystery here, and it may remain partly open. For our purposes, we can imagine that the aurora has its own quiet music, too soft for microphones, too faint for recordings, but just loud enough for the imagination. As the light brightens, you can imagine a gentle, distant hum swelling in the background of your mind. As it fades, the hum softens again, disappearing back into silence. Your own breathing can be that soundtrack, in and out, in and out. The sky moves, your chest moves, the night stays calm, quiet wonders everywhere. To understand the aurora more deeply, scientists quietly watch and measure. In polar regions, small observatories sit in snowy fields, holding cameras that stare at the sky all night, capturing every rise and fall of light. These all-sky cameras take repeated images of the full dome, creating time-lapse videos where auroral bands bloom and fade like slow-motion waves. On the ground, magnetometers measure tiny changes in Earth's magnetic field caused by electric currents high above.
In space, satellites and scientific missions fly through the regions where the solar wind meets the magnetosphere, sampling particles and fields to see how energy moves from the sun into Earth's environment. Together, these instruments paint a picture, not in color, but in numbers and graphs. Even so, there are still mysteries, details of how certain structures form, why some patterns flicker fast and others stay smooth and steady, remain questions to explore. As you rest, you can imagine these quiet instruments doing their work in the dark, blinking small lights, recording silent data, while above them the sky continues its gentle dance. Quiet wonders everywhere. The northern lights have a southern twin. Around the Antarctic and the southern oceans, the aurora australis, the southern lights, glow in the night. Just like in the north, charged particles guided by the magnetic field collide with atoms in the upper atmosphere, releasing green, red, and purple light. In some parts of New Zealand, Australia, and South America, people can sometimes see these southern auroras above dark hills and icy shores. Imagine standing on a quiet beach in the far south, waves rolling in with slow, foamy edges, and above the ocean, curtains of aurora drifting like ghostly sails. From space, Earth wears two crowns of light, one in the north, one in the south, both responding to the same sun, both whispering the same story in the different parts of the sky. It is comforting to know that while you sleep in another hemisphere, someone else might be looking up at their version of this glow, feeling the same quiet awe, quiet wonders everywhere.
Auroras are not only an earthly thing. Wherever you have magnetic fields, charged particles, and a little atmosphere, there is a chance for auroral light. On Jupiter, the auroras are huge and powerful, fed by particles from its volcanic moon, Io, as well as the solar wind. These lights can shine in wavelengths our eyes can't see, but special instruments reveal them as bright, permanent ovals at Jupiter's poles. Saturn too wears polar lights, circling its poles like delicate rings of color. Even Mars and Venus can host auroral-like phenomena, though their magnetic environments are different from Earth's, so the details change. Some distant brown dwarfs, objects somewhere between planets and stars, seem to produce auroras far brighter than anything on Earth, flashing radio and infrared light into space. If you like, you can imagine a distant traveler standing on a world we have never seen up close, looking up at a sky filled with colors we have no names for yet. Different planet, different gases, different colors, but the same basic idea. Charged particles meeting an atmosphere and saying hello through light. Quiet wonders everywhere. Now the science can gently fade into background. We'll create a small personal aurora inside your imagination, just for rest. Picture a sky with no buildings around, no wires, no roads, just a wide open space. You're lying down somewhere comfortable. It could be a wooden deck, a soft bed in a glass cabin, or simply a mat on the snow with many warm blankets. Above you, the aurora is already present, but you don't need to look at every detail. You can let it blur into a soft wash of color, as if someone has painted the entire sky with gentle strokes of green and blue. With each inhale, the glow brightens slightly. With each exhale, it softens and fades, like a tide rolling away from shore. Around you, everything is safe and still. Your body is supported. Your heartbeat is slow. Your thoughts are allowed to wander and dissolve. You are under a sky that asks nothing of you, and except that you rest. Quiet wonders everywhere. As we move into the final part of this journey, let's gently return from space and ice to you. Your body right now is made of atoms that were formed in ancient stars. The same kind of particles that dance in the aurora also flow through your nerves, help your muscles move, and allow your brain to create thoughts and dreams. You are not separate from the universe that paints the northern lights. You are one small, precious expression of it. The sun sends out a wind, earth guides it, the sky glows, you lie beneath it, breathing slowly, a quiet witness. You don't have to earn this view. You don't have to earn rest. You are already enough exactly as you are here and now. If thoughts about your day try to climb back in, you can imagine placing them gently on the snow beside you, like small stones. They will still be there tomorrow if you need them. For tonight, you can simply watch them rest under the same sky as you. Quiet wonders everywhere. The northern lights are one of Earth's gentlest gifts, a quiet sign that our world is connected to the wider universe. They tell a story of particles and fields, of atoms and photons, of planets and stars. But they also tell a story about you, about how very small and very precious each moment of rest can be. You are part of a universe that glows and shifts and changes, and you are allowed to pause within it. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, you can imagine a soft aurora hanging just behind your closed eyes, a curtain of gentle light that moves with your breath and watches over your dreams. If you are still awake, you can let your breathing grow a little slower now, a little deeper, as if you are breathing with the rhythm of the sky. If you are already asleep, these words are just distant echoes, like wind on snow, like waves of light fading behind the mountains. May your rest be deep, may your dreams be kind, and may you remember when you next look up at the night that quiet wonders are always there, waiting patiently high above you.